I'm Irving.
The Ballad of Irving. Irving. Big fat Irving. Big sport Irving. The 142nd fastest gun in the West.
When I saw Batman, I just sort of yawned. Here is a character that has quite honestly been done to death. What more can you do with him? We've had comics, shows, movies, stained glass windows. For crying out loud, can we come up with something new? So I ignored the games. Then I got a request to review them. I do my best to honor those requests if I can, so I went onto my Steam account and found that Arkham Asylum was on sale. There went my last excuse. I bought it and installed it and resigned myself to deciding whether this was Adam West or Michael Keaton. It sure wasn't going to be good. Yeah! Okay, so I was wrong. It was bloody freaking incredible. Part of the reason is because I encountered a bunch of villains that I'd never heard of. See, I never paid much attention to the comics. When I was in my comic collecting phase, I was into Marvels. My first real exposure to Batman came with the 1960s TV show with Adam West and Burt Ward. By the way, if you have not seen that series, you have not truly experienced Batman. We all know why Bruce Wayne does what he does, his parents and all that. But the 1966 Batman didn't even remotely resemble the tortured soul we're used to from the comics and the movies. You got the impression that he and Dick Grayson did the Batman and Robin thing because they were bored and wanted something cool to do. And that was part of my problem because remember, that was my only exposure to the whole Batman story. I couldn't figure out why these two idiots would dress up in goofy outfits and go fight bad guys just for the hell of it. The show was campy and pretty well never took itself seriously, and I loved it. But that also meant I didn't take Batman seriously. Fast forward a few decades and the first Michael Keaton movie comes out. In the publicity surrounding the film's release, I learned Batman's actual backstory. Now he was a much more interesting character. But Michael Keaton spent way too much time standing around looking impressive and not nearly enough time doing Batman stuff. Still, I was hooked. I followed all of the movies. I even liked George Clooney. The Christian Bale movies? Loved them. All of them. Games? No thanks. Movie tie-in games always suck. That's how I came into this. I'm happy to say that these are not movie tie-in games, and they definitely do not suck. Let's take a look. As our story opens, Batman has just caught the Joker. Again. A police convoy is taking him to Arkham Island, where the asylum is, and Batman is on his way there to oversee the transfer. We get our first looks at our two main characters.
Stand back, fool, I've got a bomb. All right.
Batman hauls Joker into the asylum and turns him over to the guards. As they take him away, Batman makes a decision.
Warden, something's not right. I'm going with him.
Isn't it nice that he just has the run of the place like that and doesn't even have to ask? He tells the warden what he's doing, and the warden doesn't argue. And now we get to start doing stuff. Right now that means walking and listening to people talk.
Essential staff to vacate the area.
It's always nice to return to my sweet little...
This guy thinks he's going to cure the Joker. He's not going to live very long, is he? We run through the opening credits while we escort Joker into the place. At least he's entertaining along the way.
Only following procedure. Well, patient seems to be in satisfactory condition. Looks like he suffered minor lacerations, probably in the last 2 hours. There seems to be...
Well,
Sorry, I'm with Joker. That was funny. Through some more doors and you get word that another special patient is being transferred.
keep your weapons trained on it at all times. What's it doing?
I've got your scent, Batman. I will
toy collar won't stop me from killing you, Batman. I'll rip you apart. Eat your bones.
What is that? Well, remember those villains I mentioned that are totally new to me? Here's one of them, Killer Croc. If you're a fan of Batman, you probably know a lot more about him than I do. If you're a noob like me, you can unlock character biographies as you go along, and he's one of them. I'm sure we'll be seeing him later. Meanwhile, the Joker is into exposition.
The night is young, Bats. I still have a trick or two up my sleeve. I mean, don't you think it's a little bit funny how a fire at Blackgate caused hundreds of my crew to be moved here?
I'm starting to think that might be a clue to something. Here's the scenario. Hundreds of Joker's henchmen were in the local prison, but a fire somehow broke out there and the place had to be evacuated. So they moved all of those guys loyal to the Joker here to Arkham Asylum, just in time for Joker himself to arrive.
What could possibly go wrong?
Inside, Batman meets Commissioner Gordon.
Long night, Jim. Joker invades City Hall and holds the mayor hostage, leaving it to me to juggle SWAT teams, the media, and you. Yeah, it's been a hell of a night.
Hopefully the last one we'll ever have with him.
Yeah, right.
Eh? Who's that? I guess we'll find out. The guards inside won't let Batman in because he'll unsettle some of the weirder inmates. A guy in a bat suit walking through a mental institution. Gee, you think that might unsettle somebody? So, of course, as quick as Batman is out of the picture, guess what happens?
Get up! Now!
Joker's loose. Alert the warden.
The joke's on you.
Raise your hand if you didn't see that coming.
Anyone? Anyone?
But it's worse.
Ta-da! Honey, I'm home.
Come on in.
Welcome to the madhouse, Batman. I set a trap and you sprang it gloriously.
Let's review for a second. Batman kept saying something didn't feel right, and the Joker basically told him that they were playing right into his hands and that he was cooking something up with that fire at the prison that brought all his henchmen over here. The world's greatest detective couldn't put this together? And at last the action starts.
Interruption to your regular entertainment.
Good response. I like the movement. The bad guys are challenging. This promises to be fun. And in good game fashion, each encounter like that earns you XP that you can use to level up and unlock gadgets, better armor, special moves, all that good stuff. Right now, we're just getting started learning the basics. We got strike, so for the next wave, we learn counter.
Sorry, Bats. Gotta run. I got places to go.
Get him! You're dead, Batman! The crap out of here! Get him on the ground and stomp on his face! Ow! You're gonna bleed out your face!
So far, the visuals are nothing short of stunning. I really like the look of the Batman suit, and the Joker might give me nightmares. And if you need some easy XP, just look for these things. That may have been the most annoying introduction to the Batarang I've ever seen. Those things are all over the place. I found myself tracking him down and destroying him just to stop that god-awful noise. Batman contacts Oracle, better known as Barbara Gordon, the Commissioner's daughter. She was Batgirl for a while until she was paralyzed, and now she's one of Batman's major sources of information. We'll hear from her a lot. And now it's time to meet another one of those villains I had never heard of before.
Thank God. It's Zaz. He's got Mike. He's strapped in the chair. Zaz has totally lost it.
Wait here.
You can't. He'll kill Mike if he sees anyone trying to get close.
He won't see me.
I see anything that looks even a little bit like a bat, and this guard dies. Do you hear me?
You make your way around until you get to where you're behind him. And now it's time for the gadget you'll use the most.
Grappling hook!
First, we learn detective mode. It shows you pretty much anything of interest in a distinctive color. This grapple will get you almost anywhere. It has its own key in the PC version and its own button in the console versions. And in the room where it's necessary to be really sneaky, you can usually find gargoyles high up on the walls and grapple from one to another to get exactly where you need to be in order to take down the bad guys. Dare I say, I love it! We grapple over to where we're behind him, and now we learn another move that we'll use a lot, the glide kick. Kaboom! Once I got my fingers to respond to the prompt, a quick ground takedown put him out of commission.
Someone put this animal back in his cell.
That was easy. The way those guards were acting, I thought he'd be a lot tougher than that. Then again, I did blindside him. I read his bio page once I got done with him, and yeah, hitting him from behind is usually a good idea. We picked up a lot of new moves in that sequence, and they're going to serve us to no end. But first...
Can you hear me? Is this thing on? Oh, hiya, B-Man. Harley Quinn here.
Another character I didn't know because I'd never seen the animated series. Apparently, she was a shrink at some institution, and the Joker got to her. She went bonkers and became his girlfriend. Now she dresses up like an idiot and acts like an idiot.
How do you like my new uniform? Pretty hot, huh? Oh, I got something to show you. 1 second, B-Man.
She says as she waggles her butt at me. Newsflash, I've seen one of those before.
I'm now subbing for the old man. Old Sharp has never been happier. In case you ain't figured it out, today is the Joker's big homecoming, and you're the guest of honor.
You have one chance to surrender, Quinn.
I'm sure she's properly intimidated.
Tempting, Bats, but no dice. Now the inmates are running the asylum. Well, technically the Joker's goons shipped in from Blackgate, but you get the idea. Bye-bye for now.
Oh, now we know who was running the security room when Joker was brought in. Wait, and nobody on security noticed this? No alarms went off when she somehow made her way there and took over? Nobody bothered to check on the office occasionally the way such places usually do? And apparently somehow she had the free run of the place? This is where Gotham puts its most dangerous psychopathic criminals. I'm sure everybody in the city is breathing a sigh of relief at that. I certainly feel safer. How does something like this happen in a place like this? I'm finding it a little hard to believe. Then again, based on what I've seen and read, pretty much everybody in Gotham except Batman/Bruce Wayne is a brainless idiot, so maybe it shouldn't be so surprising. Into the ductwork where we find something else new.
I'll keep trying.
These Riddler trophies give you points, and they unlock things like character bios. They're hidden all over the city, and some are hidden inside puzzles that you have to figure out to get them. It makes another nice side challenge to see how many you can find. After a while, I started getting a feel for where there was likely to be one, so there was a nice balance between challenge and reward with most of them. In the next area, some people are trapped in a decontamination room that's full of Joker toxin. You have to find a way in there and save them. Through some more ducts as we watch the world's greatest detective in action.
This isn't a simple escape attempt. The Joker's been planning this.
You think? He told you that in so many words, and Harley Quinn just told you again. Brilliant deduction. A little further on and you catch up with the Joker.
What took you so long?
There's no escape, Joker. I will find you.
I believe you just did. One Batarang toss is all you've got now that you're here?
Oh, I'm counting on it. Just not yet. He's a big one.
Okay, I have no idea at all what this is, but it's boss fight time. You spar around with this guy for a while, then this happens.
Unexpected, wasn't it?
The Joker stands there and taunts Batman, saying, "Just kill me and get it over with." Batman, of course, won't do it.
Oh, you're getting too predictable, Bats. Well, I'd love to stay and chat, but I have a party to organize. I've got guests flying in from all over Arkham. You'll see.
Wait, are those his only two choices? Kill him with a Batarang or let him get away? Couldn't he grapple up there, punch the guy in the face, and take him to a cell? Or use one of the other gadgets, or even just run and jump up there? What is wrong with this guy? The Bruce Wayne / Batman persona has always been a little unstable, but nobody ever portrayed him as stupid before. Well, of course, we all know the answer. If the game ended right there with Batman capturing the Joker, nobody would pay $60 for it. So we have to keep it going. Honestly, I'm not complaining about that because the rest of the game is outstanding. But I think we could have found a little more believable way to get us there than having Batman stand there like a scared child. I earned an upgrade with that battle. There are lots of cool upgrades for things like fight moves, new gadgets, and improvements to existing ones, but I usually go for the armor upgrades first, just because I know I'm not very good at this stuff and I'll need the extra protection. A guard tries to open your way to where the Joker went, but he's clearly not in control of the system. And we learn that Batman has a big problem.
Just in case you were planning on following me, I've arranged a little insurance. Gordon is on his way to Harley as we speak.
Officer Bowles.
If I see you trying to follow me, he dies. Harley's looking forward to it. Maybe I'll film it and post it on the internet.
Batman decides to go back to the holding cells where that crooked guard grabbed Gordon because he figures the guard isn't too bright and probably left a trail. So I guess we're off to look for donut crumbs. Along the way, Joker explains that Officer Bowles has been indebted to him for a long time, so now we know how Harley got into the security office and all the rest. Your detective vision doubles as an evidence scanner. In this case, it turns out the officer is a boozer, of course. He dropped his flask, but apparently he drank enough of it so that he's reeking of alcohol so we can follow his scent in the air and catch up to him.
I can follow traces of alcohol from Frank's bourbon.
I really don't know what to say to that. The scanner not only shows us the cloud of booze breath he left, but it shows us a representation of an alcohol molecule. Well, that's certainly essential for following the trail, right? Actually, I think it's kind of nifty. It's a little bit of attention to detail that shows we're really giving this game the best we have. Plus, it just looks cool. You come to an elevator, but Harley blows the cables so you can't use it. She says you're trapped down there, but this is Batman we're talking about. Trapped? I don't think so.
Shimmy, shimmy, cocoa pop, shimmy, shimmy, pop.
You keep finding your way up this shaft, using your grapple, jumping, shimmying, shaking.
Slow dancing, swaying to music.
Let's not get silly. And along the way, you come to this. I'm not sure I want to know. Let's keep going. We have bad guys with guns in here, so I'll want to grapple up to that convenient gargoyle. What? I can't do it? Why? I don't get it. It's right there. That's what those things are for. Why can't I use it?
Oracle, Joker's men have taken control of the cell block transfer corridor.
That's not good. I patched into a guard radio. It sounds like Joker's crew have got their hands on weapons.
I know. I'll calibrate the Cowl's vision mode to isolate armed henchmen. The direct approach is suicide. I need to be smart. Find a different way past them.
Oh, they don't become available until the exposition is done. I should have known that. Hop around on them a little and you can do this. Further on, we find yet another collectible.
Harley and Quinzel?
Call me Harley. Everyone does.
I'm surprised you want to intern here at Arkham.
I've always had a thing for extreme personalities. You can't deny there's an element of glamour to these super criminals.
I warn you right now, these are hardcore psychotics. Most would rather kill you than speak to you.
I'm sure I'll be fine, Doctor.
They'll eat you for breakfast. I mean it. One or two of them will enjoy it too. Be careful.
There are lots of these around, and you do get points for them. For me, it was more interesting to learn about the characters, but the points toward upgrades are nice too. I won't deny that. One of those upgrades I took is called an inverted takedown, and I get a chance to use it right here.
Come to it, boys! Drag that back down with the rest of us crazies!
One thing to keep in mind is that, in this game at least, you have to be hanging upside down to use this move. So when you get up on the gargoyles, try to figure out where the bad guy is going to go, then get on a gargoyle above there and hang from it. If he gets within reach, you won't be disappointed. Oh yeah, one other thing to keep in mind is, you can only do this once for each gargoyle. Once you have a bad guy dangling from it, you can't grab another one from there. And it makes sense. Another guy passes by, Batman's hanging upside down ready to grab him, but the rope holding the other guy is in the way, and he drops down, and the guy he grabs starts to squirm, and the other rope starts wrapping around them both, and the next thing you know, you have Batman up there looking like a badly done cat's cradle, and the bad guy gets away. Can't have that. We're still following the trail left by Mr. Affluence of Inkahall, but of course eventually we come to the end of the trail.
Joker must have figured out how I was tracking Gordon. Officer Bowles' trail stops here.
Along with Officer Bowles, Batman figured out that the trail ends at his dead body. World's greatest detective, everybody! Once that scene ends, we get a radio message from Edward Nygma, better known as the Riddler. He has some challenges for you.
Don't cut yourself on this sharply observed portrait. So you did it! Well done! I would have expected a child to work that one out, let alone the world's greatest detective.
Now, we're right in the middle of a huge chase after a homicidal maniac who's holding one of our best friends, so why would we bother with his silly little challenges when he's not actually hurting anybody? XP, duh! You get points for every one you solve, and there's never enough to get all the upgrades you want. So you grab every opportunity to rack up a few more. And the game just keeps giving you more and more opportunities. I really like that. You'd think that at some point all this would get confusing, but strangely enough, there's very little overlap. Which is to say, in one place you might find an interview tape and that's it. In another one you might find a Riddler trophy or two. From here on, most of the rooms you enter have a Riddler challenge associated with them, and they're usually not too hard to figure out. But when there's one of those, there's very little else in the way of searchables and stuff. So it doesn't pile a ton of tasks on you all at once. It introduces a lot of them, but then it gives them to you a little bit at a time in bite-sized chunks so you don't get overwhelmed. It's fascinating to watch how they did that and to realize that they did it so well. We're supposed to be rescuing Commissioner Gordon, but we got word that the bad guys were going after the Batmobile. As you can see, the car is a lot more important than the Commissioner because we suspended our search for Gordon to go protect it from these guys. Good to know Batman has his priorities in order. Oracle too, because even though Jim Gordon is her father, she sent Batman off to protect the car instead of rescuing him. Such dedication.
There's a supply of explosive gel in the trunk of the Batmobile. I may need...
And why didn't you take it with you to begin with? And I have an idea what it does based on the name, but what do we do with it?
Harley trashed the car.
He doesn't have these?
Looks like there was a scuffle.
With whom? The car fought back?
I need to search the area around the Batmobile. There could be a clue as to where she took Gordon.
Wait a minute. So he assumes she had Gordon with her when she vandalized his car? Why would she do that? So the scuffle must have been with Gordon then? I'm a little lost here. Nevertheless, you scan the area and find Gordon's favorite pipe. Batman says Jim's leaving him a trail to follow. So where we were following Booze Breath with Officer Bowles, now we're following Tobacco Breath with Commissioner Gordon. Okay. Oh, that's what you do with it. And of course, we have to spray it in the shape of a bat. Nothing else would provide the physics to bring that wall down properly. As it turns out, we're not following Tobacco Breath. We're following spots on the ground. So Gordon is walking along and, what, spitting every few feet because he knows Batman can detect the tobacco bits coming out from between his teeth? I'm still having trouble making sense of this, but let's just keep going and see where it takes us. Further on, you learn that Joker's men have grabbed a bunch of doctors. For what purpose, nobody knows. But now it's your job to rescue them. You rescue a room full of doctors, then find that you have to wander all over the place to rescue 3 more. Naturally, they're scattered around as far away from each other as the laws of physics will allow, so this is going to take a while. Just can't seem to get Jim Gordon to the top of the priority list. There's always one more thing to do before we keep going after him. When I got to the 3rd doctor... No, you know what I mean. When I got there, I found a cool way to use the explosive gel.
You chose me. Did Joker... No! Please, no! No!
She's dead. Someone tell Joker.
Okay, maybe it's not that easy. Let's try a different tactic. That reminds me of the multiple door breaching that we do in Rainbow Six Vegas. Very nice. And the graphics continue to be spectacular. Okay, that's all 3 doctors. Can we see about Jim Gordon now? Well, yes. Our new objective is to pick up his trail again. But without warning, the elevator appears and Batman takes to the gargoyles again.
Where'd it go? Why is this happening to me? What did I do?
Oh, I don't know. Signed on with Joker, helped take over and trash the whole place, came after Batman with a gun. That's not so bad, right? You get in the elevator and Joker comes on some screens and starts taunting you. Batman starts coughing and then things get really weird. Especially when we get to this. I never thought anybody would actually do that. We've killed off Commissioner Gordon. But wait a minute, Batman's eyes were glowing red. Why were they glowing red?
Barbara, I'm sorry. I was too late.
I'm sorry. The number you dialed isn't available. Please leave a message after the tone.
We followed the halls to the morgue, and here's where it becomes clear that we've taken a hit of acid or something.
Father should have stood up to his son. Like a man. Mom?
Help us, Bruce. Don't let us die.
Meet Scarecrow. Real name, Dr. Crane. He likes to use drugs to screw with people's heads, and he's given Batman a huge dose of something. Let's get out of here. Something about the place looks different. I can't quite put my finger on it. Oh, right! We've been transported into an H.P. Lovecraft novel. Well, let's see what happens. He's sweeping the area with laser vision or something, and if he catches you in his sight, you're zonked. So you have to time your movements, running from cover to cover when he's looking the other way, until you get up to that bat signal that you can just see every once in a while.
These are the broken fragments of your mind.
When you get there, that brings you back to the morgue and back into your right mind. So now it's questionable whether that was actually Jim Gordon that you saw dead. Here's a hint. It wasn't. Crane's gas was screwing with you, playing on your deepest fears. So we're still tracking him with the intention of rescuing him. When you catch up, there's armed goons all over the room. Meanwhile, Harley Quinn has Gordon in a separate room with orders to kill him if Batman is detected. So you have to take out all the guys in the room without any of them knowing it. This should be good.
Nothing personal, old man.
Do your worst.
I think I found a glitch. I get a prompt for a silent takedown and I hit the button and all he does is hit the guy. It's not responding according to the prompt. I exited the game and I'm going to try going back in, but this may get interesting.
Anyone out there seen Batman yet? No? Not surprised. He's chicken. Mr. J has won again.
So it turns out that if the dodo who's playing the game hits the button that the on-screen prompt says to hit, instead of absent-mindedly hitting the other button, the silly thing works. Go figure. As long as you can tell your dextra from your sinistra, it's not hard to take these guys down. Then you head up and deal with Harley.
This old man looks like he's gonna pee him.
You took longer than I thought.
You're welcome.
He's out of control. He's trying to prove something. I'm not sure I can stop him this time.
Well, you did drop him into the big middle of who knows how many of his henchmen as well as an army of psychotic supercriminals, so I'm sure you must have planned for this. Wait, you didn't what?
You'll do it. Batman, listen. We're not alone. He's got something else down there. I don't know what it is.
What a blabbermouth! Spoiling the surprise.
Be quiet.
Ooh, nice comeback.
Oh, am I getting to you? Am I? Good. You're going to love this next bit.
Guys, you remember Harley? She's up there on the floor unconscious. For now. And there's a machine gun next to her. You think maybe somebody should do something about that? Guys? Hello?
It wants Dr. Young's login.
Never mind that. Get behind me, now.
Bane.
It's Frank Fontaine! Wait, wrong game.
I thought he broke out of Blackgate.
Cut me down.
Who did this to you?
Dr. Young, the Bruja. She drained the venom from my blood. Must stop her.
Sorry, Has-Bane. The good doctor won't be a problem much longer.
Is anybody else as confused as I am?
How do you like my puppet? What say we cut him down?
Gordon, run!
Why is he mad at Batman? He said Dr. Young did that to him. The Joker pumped him up and is yanking him around. Batman was clearly appalled at what was being done to him and was inclined to help him. And he goes after Batman? Why?
Nice lady.
Oh, so we can have a boss fight. That explains it. What do I need to do? Disorientated. That is not a word. It's just a game. Just a game. That is not a word. Just a game. Just a game. They mean disoriented. Just a game. Okay, so you disorientate him and then yankentate out his venom hoses so you can weakentate him. Naturally, it takes more than one time, and naturally, after the first one, henchmen start arriving to muddy the waters. You have to fight them off while Bane charges at you like a rhinoceros, throws huge rocks at you, and otherwise tries to fold you like paper, as he says. It's a nice fight, not too hard but not too easy, even in easy mode. Figuring out how to avoid Bane and deal with the other guys is a good challenge. Once you beat him, Batman crawls out of a manhole and fires up the Batmobile.
Batman, you okay?
I'm fine, Jim. Where's Quinn?
Gone. Must have gotten loose while Bane was throwing you around.
Told you, there was plenty of time to tie her up and disable her weapon before they went exploring. But no. And now look what happened. Shame on you two. A police commissioner and a... Yeah, you both should know better. But before they can figure that out, Bane comes crashing through the wall and grabs Batman.
I will break you, Batman. Then the Bruja.
No, Bane. This time I break you.
Did Batman actually just kill someone? He puts Gordon on a boat back to the city, then contacts Oracle.
Oracle, go through the city's computers. Pull up all you can find on Dr. Young. I'll go through anything you find once I get to the cave.
A bat cave on Arkham Island?
I built it years ago. It's best to plan ahead for situations like this.
Plan ahead for situations like this. He envisioned this? Why do the rich guys get all the really good drugs? She asks how he kept it a secret.
It's me, remember?
Of course, that explains everything. On the way to the cave, I found this.
So, you have given in and taken my map. I hope it proves useful.
I see a kabillion little green question marks wandering all over the place like roaches. What's this supposed to tell me? Honestly, I never did figure it out. I went to several of those marks and found nothing. I don't know what it all means. When I saw what it was called, I figured it was going to show me the locations of all the trophies or something like that. But as far as I know, none of the trophies are mounted on the backs of water bugs, so I still don't know. I could look it up, but by this time I didn't care enough. I wanted to see where the story was going. There's a lot of busy work getting to it, but eventually you reach Batcave Arkham campus.
Dr. Young was heading up a project. It was big, lots of external funding. Here are the last notes she filed. I can't make sense of it. What does it mean?
Looks like she was experimenting on the Arkham patients. This new chemical only barely resembles the original venom compound. There are a number of changes that appear to amplify the strength of the drug. Multiple references to a Titan formula. Even a small amount could trigger a venom-like transformation in the host, eliminating the need for the storage tank Bane requires.
She's trying to make a Bane formula that's more powerful and doesn't require all the gear. Why? What collection of idiots thought this was a good idea?
Hang on. These notes aren't complete. The formula is missing. That must be the secret Dr. Young is hiding. If Joker gets his hands on this, he will create an army of 1,000 Banes.
Question, Mr. Joker, sir. How do you know they'll obey you? What's to stop them from turning around and ripping you to shreds? I assume he's planned for that. Joker's crazy, but he's definitely not stupid. Meanwhile, we get a new gadget.
You've got to stop him.
Where does he get those wonderful toys?
Apparently, he stashes them at random spots around the region. So now that Batman's done with his geocaching, let's see how this thing works. Okay, let's go find Dr. Young before Joker does. Oracle learns that Joker was paying Dr. Young to create this army of Bane-like monsters, and then suddenly the payments stopped.
Hey, this is weird. The payments to Dr. Young's account didn't stop exactly. They were declined. Dr. Young put a block on her account.
Sounds like she had a change of heart. She tried to block the payments. Joker doesn't like it when his partners try to back out.
So he decided to get himself back to Arkham, find his formula, and create the army himself.
Exactly.
I'm starting to think Barbara Gordon is the one who deserves the title World's Greatest Detective. Batman wouldn't know squat without her. Basically, it's like she's Nero Wolfe to Batman's Archie. Look it up. You're making your way through some sewers beneath the island, and all the pillars and stuff are crumbling so you can't grapple anywhere. You make your way through a maze of jumps, ducks, shimmies, and shakes, and shoobop-de-bops until you get to the surface. Joker had a couple of snipers posted, but they can't snipe what they can't see.
Psychos, killers, maimers, and murderers that are not yet in the old mansion. Hurry up, you fools, before I feed you to the man himself!
Sam Fisher, eat your heart out. Batman carries rope. But when these snipers get a bead on you, run like hell. Because they can even shoot you through rocks. You make your way into the mansion and discover that Dr. Young has stashed the formula somewhere and she herself has disappeared. Joker has his men interrogating everybody and tearing the place apart looking for her.
What's that collar do? Why is it making that noise?
It's the suicide collar, and it sounds weird.
Suicide collar?
Well, they've got some other name, but, well, we just use them to monitor patients' heartbeats. If it drops too low, the alarm goes off and a crash team rushes in.
But in the meantime, it laughs at them? Yeah, right. You suppose maybe it's been tampered with?
And so does my crew if you trigger one.
Told you so.
How do you like them apples, Bats? Standing around in the... let's see... the West Wing. They'd be there now if they weren't busy knocking a little sense into cash. I'll tell you what, I won't spoil the surprise and let them know you're coming.
You rescue some guards in a room where you get to do lots of inverted takedowns and stuff like that. And Officer Cash tells you that Dr. Young is hiding in a very inconspicuous place where nobody would ever think to look. Her office. That's our next stop.